Like I say, my name is Lucifer White Star, basically. Also named home name Brian. But like I said, I am the inventor of the triple expansion steam engines and basically the person who named Lucifer White Star Lines. It's my name. It was always my name. It was my chosen name, basically. Um, like I said, I invented, and then later on, I basically helped America basically break the sound barrier and all that stuff and other things. And although not that successfully, actually. Well, they kept asking me, expecting me to design the whole aircraft, and I was like, and I was also the one who said, well, your wings are too thick. You can't use a high lift wing for going quickly through the air. Like it doesn't need that much lift. Anyway, and that was one of their problems too, is that they showed me one picture of what they were trying to break the sound barrier. I said, well, I'm gonna need a picture. So they flashed me a picture, showed me a picture somehow, and basically once I saw what they were trying to use, I was like, no way, that's never gonna work. The wings are way too thick, and all that stuff. You're gonna need thinner wings. That's for slow flight, not fast. Fast flight, you don't need much more than a board, to basically fly through the air, basically. So as soon as I saw it, I was like, no, that's never gonna work. And you're gonna need it to be more pointy in the front and stuff like that. I basically and I drew a couple quick pictures of pretty much kind of the basic airframes and basically pretty much sketched out the SR-71 about as well as a child can do it. Like I said, something about like this. I just drew a sketch on a piece of paper. I sketched out a couple different variants of airframes and said test these in the wind tunnel, basically. And they got a hold of those crayon drawings, basically. Like I said, Lucifer White Star Lines was my company, basically. So, and also the SR-71 Blackbird and all that other stuff. I knew their airframes and I knew what they could do. Anyway, like I said, and later on the LSF-A colony ship, whatever. It's me, Lucifer. So anyway, but at some point in time, other people basically gathered around my board and they were trying to outvote me as far as the life rafts and life things. They kept on saying that there were too many lifeboats and they crowded the deck and this and that. And I was like, well, you can get rid of some of them or maybe make them collapsible somehow. And like I said, and that was another thing is I thought maybe, well, you only need to spend like 2 or 3 hours in the water anyway, so a collapsible boat should be, but it was a matter of whether or not we could make a collapsible boat as water and as seaworthy as basically a what's it called, a full boat. And it depends on what kind of seas you're going to be in and stuff like that. Like some seas are really rough and some seas are not so rough. And I was trying to also get them to go for boats that would be buoyant even though they were full of water and stuff like that. So anyway, it gets all complicated as basically, my board members, the White Star Lines. See, the White Star Lines, I had a board underneath me, just like a president and vice president and council and Congress underneath that. So the White Star Lines, there was a board of members basically that basically, like I said, the White Star Line Company is too big for one man to basically handle every dispute and every problem and everything, within it. Like I was swamped with work and stuff. And so I kept hiring on people to basically work underneath me to manage my cities and my ships and everything else like that. So basically they would take orders and direction from me and then basically they would do what I wanted, and also being people on the ground or boots on the ground, as they say, basically would understand the situation and know the situation and the goings on more directly as opposed to me. Like I said, if basically the leader of Africa says, "You're going to die, Trumpy, and I'm going to get Lucifer too," if he says it to Trumpy directly, then Trumpy knows firsthand, basically, that Africa would be a problem. Whereas I wouldn't, because he didn't say it to me. So then he would act on my behalf or whatever, and stuff like that, or something like that. Or if, say, a nuclear bomb went off in New York, he would be, theoretically, as my manager, if he was my manager, which I have my doubts, considering his son's supposed to be president next. take that, trump that. Trump this. Anyway, my board kept trying to outvote me and basically undermine me. Cutting costs, cutting this, cutting that. Like I said, at some point in time, cutting payroll. They kept on doing things like cutting payroll or basically firing people without my consent. And I would and I would find out about it, and I'd be like, "Hey, I promised those people. I had a deal with those people. You can't just fire them. Just because they're old or whatever else like that. You can't just send like I say, some board members considered it adequate to basically fire somebody at like 50 or 60 after they had served like 60 years on board one of my ships, and basically just say, "All right, see ya, bye." And then this person who had lived on one of my ships his whole life was suddenly on the streets with no money, no financial standing, and basically just whatever he had saved, or not even that. And I was like, hey, you can't just do that to my captains. We're White Star Lines. We don't just abandon people. So anyway, I got in a couple tiffs and fights with my board over basically their treatment of older people and stuff like that. I wasn't willing to just send them out to pasture and basically leave them with nothing. So anyway, though, it gets complicated, as basically they were trying to run my company the most efficient way possible, and I was trying to look after the people that had been loyal to me. So anyway, though, yeah, it gets all complicated and this and that, and there's a lot of other things, and and finances and all this and that, and basically I was biting off a lot. But like I said, at some point in time, I had basically decided to put shoes and clothes onto not only all my employees, but also possibly the civilian population. And like I said, my people said, how? And I said, I will think of something. And, the things I thought of, I started thinking about how I could do it. And I had other people also thinking about how we could somehow clothe the planet. Put a shoe on every foot. 5 pairs, possibly 2 or 5 pairs of socks. I was thinking 5 pairs of socks per person might be a little bit too much, but at least 2 pairs of socks and at least 1 or 2 changes of clothes, might be possible. So anyway, like I said, I know, I'm crazy. I thought I could do anything. And I thought about water power and textiles that could run with little or no maintenance. I didn't care about the finances. Yes, I'm rich beyond belief, blah, 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 blah. My clothing sales are through the roof. I basically set the tone for what is linen. Linen, L-U, Lucifer clothes, basically. And luxury, another L-U. Yes, but that wasn't the point. The point was giving everybody a washcloth and everybody a towel and everybody a bed to sleep on. That was my goal. So anyway, like I said, yes, I'm crazy. Yes, clothing the whole planet is something that most people, but like I said, I figured a trickle-down effect. People tend to buy new clothes or want new clothes, and slightly ratty or slightly torn clothes might be just fine for somebody without clothes and stuff like that. So, and it was a matter of disinfecting and cleaning the clothes, and possibly steam or washing or bleach or some sort of way could kill the bacteria and kill the kill the bugs that might live on the clothes, so they could be resold or redistributed to poorer people, and maybe they could even pay some small financial price to get secondhand clothes and stuff like that. All these things, people would say, "Oh my Lord." It's like, yes, I am your Lord. I am the person that reached so high. Man, that's why many people would say Lucifer's trying to be God and trying to be blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, I am your creator. I am the creator of other life forms as well. So if I couldn't do it, who could?